All right, everybody, welcome to Dale Sports Edition, week two. If you followed the stuff I did last week, I explained basically the over and unders, point spreads. This week, I'm going to talk a little bit about prop bets. Okay, well, prop bets are very simple. Up until 2 years ago, when they legalized gambling, as far as the gambling websites in New York, the only time you could make a prop bet was really the Super Bowl. Like what color would the Gatorade be, torn course, if there would be a wardrobe malfunction, if you remember Janet Jackson's thing. Yeah, and stuff like that, last score. Well, now you have prop bets. So the only one that I use right now, the only site that I use, I don't use FanDuel, I don't use DraftKings, not MGM. I use something called PointsBet. You could look it up, points, spelled Points, and bets, BETS. They're very similar to the other ones. What I liked about them is they have a lot more prop bets that I think the other ones do. Only thing that FanDuel has that PointsBet doesn't have is when I used to have FanDuel last year, quarterbacks throwing interceptions. Now, if you watch most of the NFL games, most quarterbacks throw interceptions. It's not high as far as the odds, but still, you can win a couple of bucks out of it. Why not? It makes sense to me. All right, before we talk about the NFL, let's talk about the games yesterday. Okay, in college, there was a lot of good games. You had your top 10 teams. You had number 5, Michigan, against number 10, Penn State. First half, Penn State stayed close, but then at the end, like every time Penn State plays Michigan, they ran away and they won 40-17. I mean, it was a good game for a while, but then, like I said, Penn State's problem is they're a physical team, but when they go against another physical team that's got a little bit more speed, that's when they get dominated upon. If you see the past couple of years when Penn State has played Michigan and Ohio State, it shows up. They hang in there like in the first half, but in the second half, usually they, get blown away or maybe try to stay close. And the thing is, too, their quarterback, Clifford, got hurt first half, and then they brought another one, and yeah, you can't do that. So let's go through the top 10, and then we'll talk about where the top 10 might be after this week, because there was some upsets in the top 10. Number 1, Georgia. Played Vanderbilt, 155-0. Well, Vanderbilt's good in basketball, not that great in football. Okay, number 2, Ohio State was idle. So that means they didn't play this week, so they're probably going to stay in number 2. Number 3, Alabama played Tennessee. You had number 3 Alabama against number 8 Tennessee in Knoxville, Tennessee. Point spread was 7. I would have probably taken Tennessee and maybe 7 or 8 just to hang in there. And the first time in a long time, Tennessee actually won. Shocking. Yes. Here's the way the game went. It went back and forth. I'll give it the last couple of minutes. It was 42-42. With about maybe 2-3 minutes to go. Tennessee got the ball. They fumble. Alabama picks it up and scores to make it 49-42 with under 5 to go. Tennessee gets the ball, moves downfield. They score a touchdown. So now you got 49-49 with less than 2 minutes to go. Alabama moves downfield, gets to the 40-yard line, and they're getting set to kick a 50-yard field goal, and their kicker misses it. So it remains 49-49 with about 35 seconds to go. So I'm going like, okay, it's probably going to be overtime. I was watching another game, but I'm going like, when I saw the score, I said, yeah, it's probably going to overtime. Well, surprisingly, Tennessee basically moved down in like 15 seconds to set up for a 35-yard field goal. And like I said, for the first time in a while, Tennessee beats Alabama. And here's the statistic that blew my mind. This is the first time since 1907 that Alabama has given up 52 points to somebody. That's crazy. So now that Alabama lost, would it be out of the top 10? Probably not, but they'll probably move down to, I say, 7 or 8. And number 4, Clemson played Florida State at Florida State. They basically dominated most of the game. Florida State stayed close, but Clemson won 34-28. Setting up a game next week against, surprisingly, undefeated Syracuse, who hasn't been 6-0 or 7-0 since 1987. So it's been a while for Syracuse. Basketball team, yeah, but football team, not so much. Not since probably Donovan McNabb. A few people can remember that. So, and the game will be at Clemson. More than likely, Clemson will be favored because they're at home. I would say maybe 7 to 10 points, but we'll see about that. Okay, in the game that I just mentioned, like I said, Michigan beat Penn State, and number 6 Tennessee beats number 3 Alabama. So more than likely they might switch positions, or Alabama maybe might move up. But we'll talk about that after I finish this. Okay, number 7 USC played Utah. Utah's lost their last 2 games, but at home they were actually favored by 3.5. I actually took USC with 4.5 just in case. Game went first half. USC dominated most of it, but at halftime they won it by 7. So near the end of the game, they're going back and forth, back and forth. USC was winning 42-35 with about less than 2 minutes to go. Utah goes down and scores to make it 42-41 with a couple of seconds to go. So I'm going like, I think it was maybe 8 seconds, something like that. So I'm going like, okay, they're going to overtime. Nope. Utah being there were 5-2, and they had 1 loss in the conference. 2 losses usually you're kind of eliminated by then. So they went for it. And Cam Risling, who's probably one of the quarterbacks that you're going to be hearing about, and maybe in the draft this year or next year, I don't know where he's at as far as Southmore Jr. I don't really know. They went for the 2-point conversion, and he actually quarterback sneaked, and he got it in barely. So they're up 43-42. USC gets the ball back with some time to go, but at the end of the day, threw up a Hail Mary, got knocked down. So number 7, USC lost. So more than likely, they're going to probably be out of the top 10, while Utah stays in the top 20 with that win. Okay, you had a good game in the Big 12. You had Oklahoma State versus TCU, both undefeated. Oklahoma State ranked, TCU not ranked. The game was in Oklahoma State. Game went back and forth, and the game ended up going to overtime. In overtime, TCU scores first, and then on 4th and 9. Oklahoma State threw the ball. Spencer, who I think is going to be a really good quarterback in the NFL draft this year or next year, whenever it comes out, threw a touchdown to tie the game. 48. I'm going like, okay, this game's going to just go back and forth, back and forth. So then Oklahoma State, they get the ball in the second possession of overtime. And they kick a field goal to go up 40-37. And I'm going like, okay. Now I got Oklahoma. And before the game started, I took Oklahoma State in 4.5. So right now I'm going like, okay, I got nothing to worry about. I worried about it with the 4th and 9, but I didn't worry about it after this. I'm like, I should be okay. TCU moves down the field. The quarterback sneaks it to win the game. So now you got another top 10 team losing. So that means TCU will probably move up, more than likely in the top 10, but we'll see. So then you had number 9 Ole Miss, which I'm surprised in there. They actually beat Auburn 38-24. So they'll probably stay where they are. They might move up to 1. And like I said, number 10 Penn State lost to Michigan, like I said, 40-17. So here's what I think is going to happen as far as the top 10 when it comes out, this week. Georgia will stay number 1. Ohio State will stay number 2. Michigan, because Alabama lost, I think will move up to 3. Clemson will probably stay at number 4. Number 5. Number 5 is going to be interesting because all the other teams actually lost, but I think Tennessee moves up from 6 to 5. So number 6 could be USC, could be TCU. So it's the last 4 are going to be interesting as far as who's going to move up. But that's what I think that's going to be in the top 10. So I think it's going to be Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, TCU, and maybe Syracuse will sneak in. Okay, now we got that out of the way. Okay, people, let's talk NFL football. So we'll talk about the prop bets. And, okay, let's get to the major games that we got here. Okay, we have San Francisco traveling to Atlanta. They're favored by San Francisco's favored by 4.5, and the over and under is 45. Now Atlanta's been playing good. They've actually, as far as point spreads, either favorite or underdog, they haven't actually lost just yet. So I think Atlanta's going to hang in there, but I think maybe San Francisco might win by a field goal, maybe 24-21. Over and under, I wouldn't touch because with this game you never know, but I think that's it. If you want to take Atlanta, I would say sure, take the 4.5. So like I say, if you're going to take San Francisco, they're favored by 4.5. That means they're going to win by 5. If you're going to take Atlanta, they got to stay within 4 points. Okay, the second game you got is New England at Cleveland. Cleveland's 2.5 point favorite. New England's been a mess the past couple of weeks because their quarterback's out and they can't find their offense right now. Cleveland up and down, but I think Cleveland will probably win by maybe 3-4 points. So I say take Cleveland, give them the 2.5. Okay, next game you got is the Jets and Green Bay. Jets coming off a convincing 40-17 win over Miami, even though they didn't have their starting quarterback, but still, you got to give it to them. I mean, I'm a Giant fan, but I got to give the Jets their due. They're playing a lot better. But this week, they're going to play Green Bay. Now, Green Bay coming off a loss to my Giants in London. Well, this is not the same Green Bay team as last year. So, I mean, I'm happy my Giants won. But they have a big game this week, and we'll talk about that when I get to it. So, being it's in Green Bay, Green Bay coming off a loss. I still like Green Bay. I think this is going to come down to a running game. I don't think it's going to come down to a passing game. I really don't think so. Because if you've been watching Green Bay the whole year, Aaron Rodgers still has no chemistry with nobody. Randall Cobb, of course, he does because he's been there forever. And Lazard, yeah, because he's had, a year or two with him. Everybody else, they kind of lost. But I think it's 7 points. So if you want to take the Jets, I say take the 7 points. They'll hang in there. If you want to grab another point, take it 8 just in case. It'll be a little bit less money, but it'll be worth it. But I think Green Bay's going to win 24-14. I think they're going to score like a late touchdown to cover. But, we'll see. Okay. Okay, you got Jacksonville at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is favored by 1.5. Okay, this game is not the best game to bother with. So the over and under in this game is 41. So I say take the under. Jacksonville's best wide receiver, Marvin Jones Jr., is out. And both running backs, Taylor and Hines, are out for Indianapolis. So you got a mess here. So I say the best thing to do is just take the under. Don't worry about the point spreads. Take the under. It might be a 10-7 game, 14-10, but I wouldn't take a chance with that. So if you want to stay away from the game totally, I would totally understand that. Okay, you got Minnesota traveling to Miami, favored by 3, and the over and under is 45.5. Now Minnesota coming off a win the last week. Kirk Cousins playing really good. Miami again. Tua Tagovailoa, can never get his last name right. He passed the protocol, but they're going to keep him out another week. I think that's a small move because they're going to play Pittsburgh next weekend. Pittsburgh's not a danger to anybody right now. So this is a tough one. I think Miami defensively might hang in there, but I'm not sure. And they're using their third string quarterback, Skylar Thompson again. Bridgewater is cleared to play, so I think maybe if Thompson gets into any trouble, they might bring Bridgewater in. So this is a tough one to pick. I mean, I like Minnesota because I think they got more offense, but traveling to Miami, it's a tough one. So like I said, given the 3, I would say if you want to cut both ways, take Miami with getting the point, make it instead of 3, make it 4. If you want to take Minnesota straight up to win, go for it. So you might take it both ways. So the over and under, not really sure. So leave that one alone. Okay, you got Cincinnati traveling to New Orleans, favored by 3, and the over and under is 41.5. Cincinnati's starting to play better now, just like they did last year. New Orleans, yeah, they could surprise you. Geno Smith's actually not playing that bad. Kamara's now where he's at, so that's why I like Cincinnati in this game, even though it's in New Orleans. And I would actually probably give the 3. But again, like I said, if you want to do like the one I just talked about, take New Orleans with 4, go for it. Over and under, wouldn't bother with. Okay, now the game that I'm interested about. Baltimore traveling to the Giants, and Baltimore's favored by 6. Now, as I said, the Giants coming off a big win against Green Bay, but like I said, not the Green Bay team of last year, but still a big win. Now, I always look at signature wins. Now, right now, Baltimore's probably one of the best teams in football right now. Okay, I say Buffalo's probably the best team. I say it's probably Buffalo, Kansas City, Philadelphia, and probably Baltimore right after that. So this is a big test, and Giants historically have problems against running quarterbacks. And Lamar Jackson is probably one if not the most running quarterback. Him and I say maybe Jalen Hurts, or Mahomes, or Allen. It's up to you which one you think it is. So the over and under in this game is 45.5. Now the Giants don't really score that many points, but the over and under, I don't know. Now being it's that many points, I would say take the Giants. Getting 6, but if you want to push it to 7, just in case maybe they go into overtime, or in case, like I said, if they lose by a touchdown, it's a push. So I would say take the Giants and the 7. If you're a Baltimore fan, you do whatever you like. I have no say in that, because Giants are my team. Okay, you got Tampa Bay traveling to Pittsburgh, favored by 10, and the over and under is 46. Okay, Pittsburgh has nothing. You got a rookie quarterback that's starting to learn the system, but no. 10 points isn't even enough. I look at the score being 31-14 or 31-17 Tampa Bay. That's all. I'm not even going to talk about giving or getting. I think they'll cover the 10 with ease. Okay. You got Carolina visiting the Rams, and the Rams giving 9.5, and the over and under is 41.5. Okay, Carolina, Mayfield's going to be out, so I think Donald's going to probably start. The Rams are a mess right now. They can't find their footing. Their offense is all over the place. So you got two teams that to me are lost. So I would take Carolina getting the 9, or if you want to push it to 10, I say push it to 10. Even though they're playing at the Rams, I think Carolina's defense is good enough to hang in there. But again, this might be the game that the Rams might explode. But I still think that Carolina is going to hang in there. So I say Carolina getting 9, or if you want to push it to 10, do that. Okay, you got Arizona getting 2.5 at Seattle. Over and under is 50.5. Okay, Seattle's not bad. They're playing okay now. Arizona's a mess. Murray's not doing that good. The offense is all over the place. The defense is just not that good anymore. This game could go either way. It's 50.5. It's a lot to give up. It's a toss-up for me. I don't know which way to go with this. If Arizona's going to break through, it might be in this game. So I would say take Arizona, give it the 2. If not, you want to take Seattle. To me, it's a toss-up. Or truthfully, I wouldn't bother with this game because I don't trust either offenses right now or defenses. Truth be told. Okay, 2 big games coming up that I'm going to talk about. Buffalo at Kansas City, favored by 2.5. This is the first time that Pat Mahomes being a quarterback at Kansas City that their team's been underdogged. Because Buffalo right now is a better team than Kansas City. But like I say, and I say this every single year, okay? This pertains to Buffalo too. Until you could beat the best team in that conference, which is Kansas City, you could talk all you want. Yeah, this is a big game. This is a signature game, of course. But again, coming to the playoffs, which both teams want to like you will, Buffalo's going to have to get past this. Every team has some team. Even in the NBA, when Jordan was playing with Chicago, they couldn't get past Detroit, and they finally did. There's always that one team, whatever sport it is, that you have a problem getting past. Okay, so Buffalo playing Kansas City, over and under is 54.5, which I understand, because these two teams could light it up. Buffalo, I mean, they got a lot. I mean, you got Josh Allen, you got Stephon Diggs, you got Singletary. You got a lot of and then you got a solid defense. Kansas City, again, Mahomes, Kelsey, and their defense is good too. This is a tough one. I can't see Kansas City losing at home. I mean, they're not as good as last year because, again, they got rid of Tyreek Hill, which is a big deal. And Buffalo has really the same team as last year. 54.5. I think the best thing to do is take the over. If you want to touch the game, I like Kansas City getting 3. But if you're a Buffalo fan, hey, you don't mind, giving it 2.5. So, tough one. Okay. Big game, NFC. You have Dallas at Philadelphia. Philadelphia favored by 6.5. And the over and under is 42. Now, since Cooper Rush has been quarterback, surprisingly, Dallas actually looks better. So, Dak Prescott, you got something to worry about. Because when you come back, if you're not as good as the other guy, and Dallas has this history of backup quarterbacks replacing starting quarterbacks, but we'll see what happens with that. Okay, that's a lot of points. Again, I'm a Giant fan. Not a fan of either one of these teams. But I got to give Philly their due. They're playing really good right now. Jalen Hurts is probably, I don't know if he's the best quarterback in the league, but as far as top 5, he's basically right there. And Dallas always, their defense, they hang in there. I mean, both teams got a lot. You know that already. Okay? You got Elliott, you got Pollard, you got C.D. Lamb. Philly basically got Hurst and a lot of other players around them. Again, I barely follow them, so I really don't know. But again, Devontae Smith, Alabama product, which the Giants would have gotten it, but Philly grabbed him last second. So I say this game will be really. I say this game comes down to a field goal, maybe 24-21, maybe 28-24. But I think this probably out of all the games, this might be the best game of the week. That's the Sunday night game, Dallas and Philly. Okay, let's talk about the Monday night game, even though I really don't want to, but I have to talk about these games. Okay, you got Denver minus 4.5. You got Denver going to Chargers, and Chargers favored by 6.5, 4.5, and over and unders 46. Okay, if you watched the Denver game the other week against Indianapolis, that was probably one of the worst games I ever watched. My mistake is I didn't bother with the over and under, which was the easiest over and under. If you watch the game, that's it. Like I said, in the off season, when Seattle traded Russell Wilson to Denver, I said Russell Wilson is done. If you've been watching, he's kind of done. And as far as the Chargers, they're not the Chargers of last year. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't think this game will be as ugly as the Denver-Indianapolis game, but I would basically say just take the under, which is 46. I don't see these two teams lining it up. But if you want to bet the game, good luck to you. I wouldn't bother. Okay, so like I said, as far as the prop bets, I will be talking about if I had more time, I would talk about the prop bets, but I really don't because we're actually doing this on Sunday, and game time's like half an hour away. So unfortunately, I had something to take care of yesterday, so I couldn't do it yesterday. But the prop bets, I will definitely talk about next week. Okay, everybody. So remember, listen to the stuff that I said, and good luck, people. All right. Bye.